If you're a business owner that consistently overeats and struggles with your fat loss, even though you know what to eat and how much to eat, I can almost guarantee that it's the inability to control your feelings and emotions that is the real problem with your overeating. Having coached so many business leaders, entrepreneurs, especially in their late 40s, 50s, and some of the guys that work with us in their 60s, they're at a stage of their life where they generally know that healthy food is going to help you look better, feel better, and obviously control your body weight. But why don't they do it? And for me, as your business and career progresses, you experience a lot more challenges emotionally. There can be a lot more up and downs with your feelings, especially when you've got a family to think about too. So what I want to share with you in this episode of the Kirk Miller Podcast is a different way to acknowledge, look at, and describe some of the most common feelings that may be creeping into your days and weeks that are negatively impacting your eating decisions. Okay? Because I guarantee if you can control your feelings better, basically your food focus, those urges, those cravings, you will make better decisions. Because as I've said in previous podcast episodes, if you can control your state, your level of focus, you will control your feelings and you make better decisions. And ultimately, how you look is a byproduct of your decisions. Okay? So I'm not going to be deluded and say that, you know, these feelings and emotions, you know, are not going to pop up in life. You know, they're needed, in my opinion. You know, I think if we didn't experience certain emotions and certain feelings that were temporarily negative, we wouldn't like appreciate and value the positive on the other side. Life would be very, very boring if everything was all really positive all the time and we didn't have these sort of negative feelings and emotions as feedback. And I think as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, I think stress sometimes, if looked at in a positive way, is a sign of growth. It's a sign you're stepping up. You're doing things that other people on this earth aren't prepared to do. I know, you know, when I've maybe experienced less stress professionally, it's when I've been playing small. So the main intention from this episode is to not say I have all the answers, but just paint a slightly different picture on how you can look at these words, describe these words, and how we have helped clients sort of deal with these and technically kill the monster early. All right. So number one is stress. Right. This for me is the most common word I hear when someone goes to shit. They're off it. They've got a lot on. Right. I genuinely think, and again, there's no judgment because I've been this guy too. If you are saying every single day, every single week to week, oh, I'm stressed. For me, it's a sign you're not organized. It's a sign you're not organized. I think when we experience or describe our weeks stressful frequently, after a period of time, it's a decision, right? It's a decision. And the danger is when you are constantly describing your life and your work as stressful, the more you repeat that cycle, you're going to make that right on a week-to-week basis. So we need to make sure that we're really violating this when it comes into our weeks and days too frequently. Because I genuinely think that when we are saying we are stressed regularly, I think it's when we're focusing on ourselves. It's when we're focusing on ourselves too much, right? I think so much of stress is self-created. And it's a bit of a cop-out word, you know, when you know, things aren't going quite as smoothly. So ask yourself, when you're actually stressed, is it self-created? Can you do something about it? All right. And would it matter in an hour's time, in a day's time, in a week's time? Right. But what can you do about it? All right. Because throughout your week, right, I can pretty much guess that you would have regular days and times across your week when you feel the word stressed. For most business owners, it's generally at the end of their work day, at the end of their work week, okay, when you've given, you've made loads of decisions, you might have had a deal to tie up, it's something to do with team, okay, marketing, whatever it may be, okay, you might have had to obviously deal with a family problem at the same time, okay, and then you just cannot wait to, you know, reward that stress with excessive food, booze, or both. right? So if you can anticipate the days and times more specifically that you feel stressed, then you can forward think and make a better decision before it actually happens. Just like you would do in your career and business, what's probably made you fantastic in that field is forward thinking. So like anticipating a problem before it actually happens, okay? Do the same with your food. Do the same with your food. So if you know there's certain times across a week that you feel more vulnerable, how can you put a better choice in place that isn't going to contradict how you want to look and feel the other side, that isn't going to slow you down too much, all right? But just really, really evaluate in your week and in your days, what days do I feel stressed and what can I actually do about it and how can I forward think better? And just to sort of wrap up stress, one thing I say to all my clients is look at stress as an opportunity to grow. It's an opportunity to learn in that moment. What is it teaching me? What is the cue that I can use for something positive to learn, grow, and do something better, basically. Number 2, anxiety. Right, it sort of ties in a little bit with stress. They generally work hand in hand, I find. But anxiety, for me, if I've ever felt anxious or, sort of had a conversation with a client who's felt anxious, I think a lot of the time it's when we are worrying about the future too much, about what might happen, what might be, or we're dwelling on the past too much. It certainly isn't something you feel when you are in the moment, being present and taking action. So if you are feeling anxious and regular bouts of anxiety, right, really trying to evaluate the true meaning of the thing that you are describing as anxiety. Is it actually true? Is there something you can do about it? Because for me, the number one thing that is going to attack anxiety is action. Nothing creates anxiety more than inaction, all right? And sometimes just doing something small to create some momentum, like, will instantly change that feeling, right? And again, just from a selfish perspective, there's nothing that's going to, change that feeling quicker than moving your body, right? Nothing changes your state quicker than moving your body, which is why for me, exercise, if you're feeling anxiety, whether it's to do with your weight, whether it's to do with your job, whether it's to do with your family, a relationship, whatever it may be, just move your body, but do something that is more in line with the outcome that you want rather than focusing on what you don't want. And I think with anxiety, so often we focus on what we don't want instead of focusing on what we want and who we're trying to become. So lean into anxiety with massive action, right? Repeatedly. And even if you don't get the outcome you want initially, eventually it will come. And you just keep scratching that anxiety feeling. Number 3, overwhelm. Overwhelm. Again, I know these sort of all tie in with the word stress or, very similar, but overwhelm, for me, if you're repeatedly feeling overwhelmed, again, it comes down to your organization. If overwhelm keeps happening, something is wrong in your forward thinking and your planning. All right? So often when we're overwhelmed, if we were to actually write a list, and I encourage you to do this, write a list of what are the things that are causing me to be overwhelmed, or who am I blaming or palming the responsibility off that's creating the overwhelm. But from that list, what do you need to say no to on that list that deep down is a distraction and just adding to that feeling of overwhelm, right? What do you need to really focus on? Because when we are doing things that we know we should be doing to drive our business forward or drive our family forward or drive our health forward, it's very rare you're going to experience overwhelm when you're focusing on the right things. Because generally when you focus on the right things, it's more in line with the expectations of the outcome that you are trying to achieve. Okay? So focus on what matters most and say no to more, but really knuckle down in your planning. All right? Especially for experiencing that week to week. Number 4, loneliness. I know I've experienced this over the years, as have many of my clients who haven't got a partner yet, okay? And this might sound a little bit deep, but if you are feeling lonely, because I think when we feel isolated and lonely, we're obviously not in a relationship, whether it's a a sexual relationship, whether it's a friendship relationship, or maybe we might feel a bit isolated in our team, our needs aren't going to feel like they're being met on a consistent basis. And as I spoke about on previous podcast episodes, every single human has needs to meet. All right? They have needs to meet. All right? These aren't values. You're going to find a way to meet your needs, whether you like it or not. And if you feel like there's no one around you that is helping you meet your needs, and you have minimal relationships or positive relationships, then you will eat to fill that void. So what I challenge you to ask yourself if you have experienced this emotion is it actually true? Am I lonely? Or do I need to take a pen and paper out and go, right, who do I know loves me? Who do I know cares for me? Who do I know that I feel great when I speak to them regularly or spend time with them? And if you're struggling with that, who can I potentially join? What community could I join? What network of people could I reach out to that are going to make me feel connected? Who shares these same traits and hobbies and things that I like to do? All right? Because remember, love and connection is one of the most powerful human needs that all of us need. Okay? But so often we can create a story in our mind that, we're isolated, no one cares. And even as a business leader, sometimes I've found, it can be a lonely place sometimes when you run a company, and especially if your personal relationship isn't strong, or perhaps you feel a little bit disconnected from your children, even if you've been working like a madman. But I think a lot of the time we just need to evaluate, and reform those connections sometimes. But there's always something you can do. Number 5. Again, this is a really, really common thing, especially when it comes to overeating and binging, and that's tiredness. And for me, there's 3 forms of tiredness, or fatigue, as I like to describe it a little bit more detailed. And that is mental fatigue, visual fatigue, and physical fatigue. Think of a time or times that you overeat. I can guarantee that many of those you'd have been tired, because your willpower is shot at that point. And again, it ties in what I said towards the start of this podcast, where at the end of the day, you've got 100% willpower that you woke up with, but you certainly haven't got 100% energy and vibrancy when you made lots of decisions, and especially at the end of a week, especially if you're sat in front of a computer a lot, or you're on a phone a lot, or you are on projector screens a lot presenting. Yeah, you'll experience mental fatigue, visual fatigue, and if you are sleep deprived too, you're certainly going to feel physically fatigued. And I know when I've overeaten, drank, or both, or made stupid decisions, or even made a sloppy decision in business, it's because I'm tired. But tiredness, if you don't prevent that, or at least try and optimize, your energy management in some way, will continually hinder your eating habits, your control, your emotional consistency. All right. So what I would suggest, if you experience tiredness on a regular basis, is dig a little bit deeper of what is actually causing that tiredness, and what can I do to prevent it. And obviously it boils down to sleep for a large part of us. But if your sleep, feels pretty solid, right? Address more specifically throughout your day what is actually making you tired. Just going back to the overwhelm point, so often we can feel mentally fatigued and visual fatigue when we are doing tasks that deep down we hate doing, we should be delegating, or maybe we're spending too long on them. Okay, so analyze throughout your day, when am I experiencing mental fatigue? When am I experiencing visual fatigue? And do I need to perhaps take some pit stops, for example? Like I advise to my clients every 50 to 75 minutes, get up, get some water, walk, move, close your eyes, nasal breathe, sort of just calm your state. It's amazing what closing your eyes does for a couple of minutes, especially if you're in front of your computer a lot and you're giving all day. Okay? But analyze more specifically in your days, in your weeks, when am I experiencing mental and visual fatigue? All right? And then with your physical fatigue, what are you actually doing to create energy? Because remember, to live with more energy and to prevent tiredness, we need to create energy. Okay? And yes, of course, sleep is a massive component of that. But if you're experiencing physical fatigue, right, what are you doing or not doing perhaps with your exercise routine, your steps, your training on the days you're experiencing more physical fatigue? So on the days you're tired, what is your routine? On the days you feel less tired and you feel full of energy, what habits do you do? What is your routine? And do more of the things that on the days when you don't feel tired, as opposed to the days that you do feel tired. It sounds simple, but remember this, what's simple to do is also simple not to do. So we need to ask ourselves better questions. When I feel full of energy, what do I do more of, right? And what do I do less of? And when I feel tired, mentally, visually, or physically, right, what am I doing that deep down I probably shouldn't be doing or doing less of? Number 6, I wouldn't say it's really a feeling, it's more of a sentence, but I'm not enough. I'm not enough. It sort of ties in with the phrase, I can't do this. Okay, I think so often, and I've saw this in clients, who've got nearly towards their goal, where they've built great habits to start with, but they just don't go that extra mile, when it comes to taking their eating up a notch to really build that dream body, okay, or that level of energy they want to live with, is it comes down to, at that moment, not feeling like you are quite enough. You tell yourself you can't quite do this, all right? And the more times you reinforce that into your mind and your identity, you're going to keep making that right. And the easy cop-out when you tell yourself that is to then eat, because you think, fuck it, I'm not enough, I can't do this, so you know what, fuck it. That's just how it is. And deep down, if you're a high performer, that's not what you're about. It's certainly not what my guys are about. Okay, and this might sound a bit intense for some people, but I don't give a shit. You need to hear the truth, okay? If you've achieved success in your business, right, and you've built a beautiful family, right, you are enough. You've done great things already. So if you've done it in one area, you can do it in this area. So when these words, I'm not enough, come into your vocabulary, again, just use it as an opportunity to go, right, what did I tell myself in other areas of my life when the words I'm not enough or I can't do this popped into my head? And how did I overcome those words? What actions did I take? What did I do with my focus? What did I do with my language? What did I do with my physiology? Who did I reach out to? What did I do to go over that hurdle? Okay, that emotional hurdle. All right. So again, try and change how you describe it and how you look at it with all of these points. All right. Number 7, last couple. Boredom. Who's listening to this that has overeaten when they're bored? Right? If you listen to this on a podcast, I'll just raise my hand. If you're watching this, you've just saw me do that. Okay, if you're bored, right, it's a massive catalyst for overeating. It's a massive catalyst. I think, especially as a high performer, if you are experiencing boredom too frequently across your week, it's a sign you need to grow, master a new skill, step up, take more action. So and this might open up a few things, me saying this, but if you are bored, like, try and be really specific. What area of life right now are you experiencing regular boredom? Is it in your personal life, your professional life? Is it your relationships? Is it your environment? Right? Because if the feeling of boredom is continually creeping in any of those areas, it's a cue that we either need to do something in that area, or we need to, as brutal as it sounds, certain relationships, even friendships, by the way, do we need to look at that a bit more specifically? Go, is that the right relationship? Is that the right friendship group that I'm in if I'm bored? If I'm consistently bored with this, with the company that I'm sharing my time with, right? Is there a way I can maybe create some excitement, right? Because we know we need to do this in relationships and friendships, especially when these people have been a part of your life for a long time, even business relationships, right? How can we create some new excitement, create some new variety? Or is it outdated? Because I think so many people struggle with their eating because they're fucking bored with their job. They're bored in certain relationships or friendship circles. Maybe they've outgrew certain friendships, or they're bored with their environment. It doesn't inspire them. It doesn't excite them. So what's the real reason you're experiencing boredom if this is the cause of your overeating? And what are you going to do about it? Do you really want this pattern of boredom to continue, or do you want to really address it and go, right, what do I need to change? Or what do I need to do to create some more excitement? All right. Number 8, last one. This feeling is simply a feeling of unhappiness, right? It's simply a feeling of unhappiness, right? So often, if we're unhappy, we're going to eat. If we're unhappy, we're going to eat. And I think this comes back to your perception of how life should be in a given area and your living conditions. Go through all the different areas of your life and ask myself, how happy am I in these areas? What is the target in that given area? And are my living conditions aligned to that? Because as I've said in a previous podcast, the formula for happiness is your living conditions being equal, basically aligned to your perception of how life should be, basically your model of the world in that given area. And if feelings of unhappiness are causing you to overeat, drink, or both to fill the void or pat down that feeling of unhappiness, then we need to, again, really magnify, do I need to create some more excitement in my life? Do I need to do something new, master a skill, just do something that is different, okay, step up in some way? Or do I need to adapt my expectations, like my target in the given area? Because, you know, unhappiness, if that is the thing that's causing you overeating, it's not just going to happen for the sake of it. There's always a reason. There's always a reason. So many of us, I think, when we are experiencing happiness, we're attached to an old story. We need to sort of create some excitement in our story. And again, continually focus on who you're trying to become and making sure your actions, thoughts, feelings, and behavior is aligned to that. Because if we're in pursuit of the things that we deep down are on this earth to achieve, be, and do, then we're going to experience more positive emotions. Okay, so look at the unhappiness feeling as a great opportunity to sort of self-evaluate. You use that as a time to journal, put pen to paper, and go, okay, why am I feeling this, and what can I do about it? You know, is it something to do with my living conditions, the way I'm sort of going about my day-to-day life, or do I need to create a new vision, a new target in some way? All right, and there was many more, of course, that I could have gone into, but for me, they're 8 the most common, and hopefully they've been a little bit thought-provoking, changed the way you maybe look at them, made you potentially question how you're describing these words, right? So think of all of these words and go, right, what is a more positive word that I can replace that word with, okay? Because remember, the way we label things and the language you use becomes our experience and our feeling generally in that given area, okay? So the more you can control your language and the way you focus and what you focus on and the meaning that you choose to describe that feeling, the better your decisions will be the other end of that, okay? And I guarantee you will eat better. Then couple of questions to ask yourself, and a sort of an exercise I really encourage you to do. Okay, if you are someone that hasn't controlled your eating in the way you want to, has erratic eating patterns, you maybe binge, can't control your sugar urges, etc. Number 1, in the moment that you're experiencing any of the emotions and feelings that I've just mentioned, or maybe any other feelings that are negatively impacting your food decisions, a great question. What would my best future self do or choose in this situation? Because so often when we sort of imagine we're in the future and look back, we generally look back and give our sort of previous self some better advice about the decision to make. Because remember, each decision we make is a vote for the future person we're trying to become. I don't know if it's the exact quote that James Clear used, but each decision you make and choice you make is a vote for the person you wish to become. And I think when we look at what our best future self would do, again, we make much better decisions. Number 2, write down 25 reasons why controlling your emotions and food is important to you in your life. Because again, if you've got more consequence and more pleasure on the flip side, basically more meaning and more emotional awareness attached to the behavior of eating the food, you're far more likely to make more positive eating decisions that are healthy than the other way around. Okay, but write 25, not 1, 2, 5, 10. Write 25 reasons why controlling your emotions and your food is important to you in your life. Last question. Who else will it impact if I don't control my state better? So often we are prepared to do more for other people than we're willing to do for ourselves. So think, who else will it impact if you don't control your state better in relation to your eating decisions? And I want to end with a quote. The problem isn't the problem, it's the way you think about the problem. So that's what I've sort of tried to get across today when we're just sort of using words to describe how we're feeling. Look a bit deeper behind that word. Is it actually true? So go through these words that come into your vocabulary, sort of resurface in your feelings too frequently, and try and evaluate, like, is this problem actually the problem? Or can I change the way I think about that problem? You know, what can I do? How can I think about it a little bit differently? All right, so hopefully that's given you literally food for thought, painting a little bit of a deeper awareness, and more importantly, giving you things you can actually do to start controlling your feelings, your emotions, and your food focus better. Because I guarantee when you do, you'll certainly eat better, and as a byproduct, you will look better and generally progress a lot quicker than you're currently doing. So thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.